Yes.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to a special makeup edition of After Gotham. We had some technical difficulties, some glitching. We were live last week, but we decided after watching the archive feed, there was just too much glitching. It was very annoying to watch, so we scrapped it. But we didn't want to have a hole in our playlist there on YouTube, so we're back for a special abbreviated version of After Gotham. And joining me on the red couch of makeups is from the off the game, because it's not right after Gotham when we're doing this, but
Yes.
from the In the Comics Dead edition. Actually, both you guys, we'll just say this whole couch is from the In the Comics Dead edition podcast and videocast. David Cottingham at dcottingham21 and Russell Johnson at director421. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Pulled me off the street as I was walking by. I'm
Yeah,
not
you did.
obviously not dressed for After Gotham. I don't have my tie.
I'm not in my
and-
normal.
I know. I feel very underdressed.
Like
so
Dave's
I just let you
dressed
know,
like the
yes.
host.
Yeah.
That's what you should be dressed
I
for.
knew I was going to do this.
Right. So we're talking about The Last Laugh. Gentlemen, first impressions. Dave.
Well, I think it finished up a incredible arc to start this season. The Jerome character has become pretty much top of my list as one of my favorite characters on the show by far. I think he was one of the best characters that has been done on there. Sad how it ended, but and curious on where they're going to take it, because I felt like he was maybe going to be a staple for the season. But overall, I think it was a great ending. I still think the first episode was probably the best that we've seen, but this really wrapped it up really well, and I thought it was very, very well done.
Agreed. Russ?
Really good, amazing. I haven't been on the show for the first since it started, but it's been a great start to the season with the first episode and now this one. And I really like how, because I read a lot of stuff prior to the episode coming out, you know, how they're going to handle the Joker storyline, if there was going to be a Joker storyline, how Jerome was part of that, and how the show ended and kind of handled the Joker myth was really excellently done. It was awesome how they did that.
So does this answer the question? Was Jerome the Joker? Obviously, we're going to say no, right? I mean, that's pretty definitive now.
No, he wasn't the Joker. He
Right.
was a Joker. So in this universe, as you can see kind of from the end too, he's the inspiration of many Jokers to come. And I think we probably may see another one during the show.
Yeah.
That's still not the Joker.
Right.
Because again, and we've said it all along, that's why I thought it was very brilliant, because the Joker doesn't have a backstory. You know, you
Right.
don't know
Right.
what his name is. You don't know where he came from. So very smart, very you know, and it's weird because like we keep saying like, you know, we like how Arrow does this and Flash does this.
Right.
This is along those lines where you introduce the character, but the way they did it was very brilliant in the comic book sense, and you finally got it on this show versus the other shows. And,
Right.
And I think it was very well done, and I think it was very smart of them to do it that way, for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, last season when I was on the show, we talked. One of the questions I got was, will there be a definitive Joker story? Is Joker going to be on the show? And we both agreed, and I think we all agreed, that we don't want a Joker definitive origin story. So to have this be the basis of something bigger and further down the road, I agree. It was excellently handled, for sure.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, either one of you, but the Joker in the comics was originally killed off in Detective 27. He was just a one-shot character, or was it he was supposed to be killed off?
He was supposed to be killed off.
Yeah.
And I think there actually is an original story that's was already completed that we actually got killed, but I don't know the actual full story on it, but I think he was so popular, they decided to leave him on and became such a popular character, they couldn't kill him off at that point.
Yeah, so it's kind of poetic that they ended up killing him off.
It is. It's actually, yes, you're very right.
Very much, yeah.
That was a good point, Jazz.
Hey,
Excellent.
I got some of them.
Good work, man. Good work.
Points,
Nice job.
Yeah.
You know? That's why I'm in the purple chair. So what did you think about his actual death and how that went down, the turn from Theo Galavan and making himself out to be the hero. What do you think about it? Where do you think it's going to lead?
Well, I think it was very. I think it was very easily foreshadowed. I mean, the way he was talking, Theo, that is, the way he was talking, like, you know, it's time to introduce the hero. We need to have, you know. And I was trying to think of like another example of a show or a movie that does this, because I know there's some out there where they set the villain up and then they come in to be the hero, even though they're not the hero. They're actually the villain.
Right.
So it was inevitable, I think. And in the end, like we said, is I think in order to now, again, I would have liked to see Jerome maybe still throughout the season, like lock him up, but then the fear of him speaking about, you know, Theo and all that stuff. So you had to kill him. But it would have been nice to see him get caught somehow and then maybe resurface again later. But again, you see that there's a possibility of another Joker kind of resurfacing because of his inspiration. But no, I think it is a little confusing, not confusing, but it is a mystery of where it's going, which is good. You don't know exactly, you know, is Theo Court of Owls? Is he that family that heads that?
Right.
Which it looks like he is. So that'll be really cool if they go down that road. So, but you know, like it looks like he's gonna, I don't know, do more with Barbara.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know.
Speaking of Barbara, we have to speak about Barbara because she's becoming more and more involved now. She's one of the villains who is rising in this, and we talked about it before. There's some fan theories out there about how she's going to turn into Harley Quinn, that we have right behind us here, and especially in this episode with knocking him on the head, you know, with the mallet or whatever it was, a ball peen hammer probably. And I mean, what do you think about that? Or do you think now that the Rise of the Villains was a 3-episode arc, and now that it's done, it's not going to be so much with Barbara? I mean, I'm sure she's going to be sticking around with Theo, but
I heard the theory that they had been toying with the idea, or at least the idea was tossed around, there would be a female Joker. And in the Flashpoint comic book that we've talked about in the comics quite a bit, my favorite story arcs, the side story to that was in the alternate universe, in the Flashpoint universe, was that Bruce was the one who was killed. His father, Thomas, became Batman, and his mother became the Joker because she went crazy.
That's right.
I don't really know where they're going with this. I don't see how you put Barbara Gordon being down the road to have a Barbara, you know, to have Batgirl and everything that is set up in the Batman universe. How are you going to put Barbara as one of these major villains that appears down the road? I just don't see how you make her Harley Quinn. I certainly don't see how you make her the Joker, unless she could be a Joker, again, inspired by Jerome and his kind of insanity that's going on. But I don't know where she plays in the bigger scheme of things. To me, it would seem that she'd have to get married to Commissioner Gordon down the road and have his son and daughter, so they could have both. Because, you know, in the comic books anyway, James Gordon Jr. is a serial killer.
Yeah.
Barbara is Batgirl. So it's like, you know, where's that leading, and how are they going to deviate from that path so drastically where Barbara becomes some major character in the Batman mythos. You know, so.
And how about her prediction that in a year's time she's going to be back together with Jim?
See, I thought about that, and at first when I first saw it, I was like, okay, well they're clearly maybe foreshadowing or setting it up that they are going to get back together somehow. I just don't see how he comes back from that. I don't see how he can accept her once she's blatantly murdered people.
Mm-hmm. I don't. Yeah, that's.
So I don't feel like that she's going to be the mother of Batgirl anymore. I really don't. I really think it could be Lee. It could still be Lee. I mean, because Barbara, you know, with this, Barbara's mom is not in the comics as much. Like they're separated. Yeah. Gordon and the mom are separated. Right. So you don't even know much about Barbara Kean, you know, in the books. So, it would totally be okay to me just to be like, just go down, just get rid of her somehow, or keep her a villain. That's fine, whatever. And then have Gordon, and that was weird to me too. Like Jim was the son was named after Jim, and then Barbara was named after
Yeah.
They had the same
Yeah.
mom and dad names,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
No
so
creativity
maybe,
in that
So
family.
maybe he names Barbara after Barbara still somehow.
Could be,
Maybe
yeah.
it's just a
yeah.
different mom
Maybe she
now.
has some sort of.
You know, that would
True.
make more sense.
She
to me.
redeems herself somehow before she dies, and
Yes.
Jim's like, well, maybe I should do that, and Lee says, that'd be fine. I don't know. Yeah, that works more.
Maybe not Lee. Maybe it's somebody else.
Yeah.
Could be a whole different,
Yeah.
So,
woman. But I tell you what, though, and I guess it was the end of the last episode. But anyway, it surprised me that the other captain got killed. Essen. I don't know if we ever mentioned that, but
oh, yeah.
not surprising because she
She was good.
was a good character. And plus, in the comics, she had a longer history. So
Well, captains and commissioners are just going to keep dying until finally, like, well, Jim, you're the only one left.
you're right.
Yeah.
Commissioner
right.
Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Favorite scenes from this episode? Favorite moments?
Wow.
That's good. I really liked. I have to say, and again, I haven't talked about this prior to this episode or anything, but Alfred's character is just awesome.
Yeah.
Alfred I'm going back to, I guess it was in the first episode when he came to the bar and talked to Lucius. I thought that was just an amazing sequence, and for him to I think him stepping up and helping Jim and fighting for Bruce, that whole thing was that was the most tense action-packed sequence I thought there was. But I do think I was a little taken aback by Joker or Jerome getting stabbed in the neck. I mean, that really came out of nowhere for me. I knew something would happen. I think he would die this episode. So to me, that was like my man moment. But I did like the little montage at the end where all the guys were doing. People were being inspired by Jerome. They kept cutting back to his face, and it's just that Joker look on his face was just. That was a great little sequence there to kind of set everything up. I thought that was part of my favorite.
You insert a little purple bag with a laughing thing in it, sit right beside him, and it's 89 Joker right there.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Dave?
That was really
And I'd say, well, I agree with him at the end, but I mean, beyond the Jerome stuff, I thought that scene between Penguin and Bullock was freaking phenomenal. I thought both of them acted in that scene top notch.
Yeah.
I think that was a great scene, and it made a lot of sense to what's going to happen, with what he owes Penguin, and Bullock being back in the mix, and how he had a thing for fish, and I thought that was a cool scene. That was a great scene.
Mine was Jerome's talk with Mr. Cicero, with his dad. And he was telling the story. And it felt very much like, you want to know how I got these cars I don't have?
Right.
It felt very Dark Knight in that. So, and probably by no accident.
Probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. That was a good one.
Well, that'll do it for a abbreviated episode of After Gotham. Be sure to tune in right after Gotham. It's really easy to remember. Eastern time, so around the 9-ish Eastern time, and we'll be coming to you live. Live.
That guy's live.
Yeah. Live.
I will be
Live,
here,
everybody.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'll be
Corey will be
replaced
back.
by Corey.
Yes,
Corey
my
will be back.
guests on the next After Gotham will be David Cottingham and Corey Cooley. You may have seen them before. One of them's right there. And I'll be here too in the purple chair as always. And until next time, for Dave and Russell, I am Chad, reminding you to stay frosty.